Hello, folks, jokes, and artichokes. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in for Triple G on MTG playing PreCons. This is episode number 3 and game number 3, where we're using the Mardu Surge PreCon. Now, those of you that have been watching this series know that I have fallen head over heels in love with the Mardu Surge PreCon. As a matter of fact, this PreCon single-handedly brought me back into playing Commander. Now, please subscribe if you've not had a chance to do so yet. It really does help the algorithm. Right now, our goal is to hit 100 subscribers. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and help us hit our goal. And then we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about Mardu Surge as the PreCon. Now, for those of you that are new to PreCons, they are pre-constructed commander decks that you can play directly out of the box. Now, with Mardu Surge, the nice thing is it comes with 2 different cards that can be utilized as the commanders for this deck. Now, you can use one of them as a commander at a time. It's not like partner. However, the Dragon Niev Crackling Vanguard is a flying death touch dragon that definitely has some mechanics that really work very well with this deck, as you're able to create 2 red 1/1 goblin creature tokens when it comes into play, and the exile mechanic that allows you to play cards from exile. It's definitely an awesome mechanic. But the Zergo Storm Renderer is the one that I started with in game 1. Then I switched to Niev for game 2, but for game number 3, well, I think we're going to have to go back to using Zergo Storm Renderer. I was told that he's the commander that is less used when playing this PreCon, but I fell in love with him myself, so we're going to go ahead and utilize Zergo Storm Renderer for game number 3. Now, he has Mobilize 1. Now, what that is when he attacks, he also creates a 1/1 red warrior creature token that's attacking also, and you sacrifice that creature at the end of combat, which works with the second mechanic, which is whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, you draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. Now, the way that works with Mardu Surge, it works very well because a lot of the cards in this deck create tokens that can be sacrificed or that have other mechanics that can be utilized, such as if you are attacking and it gets taken out, it still works with this commander. I feel that once we finish this game, we are going to take this deck and, well, modify it slightly, but that's another conversation for another video. But now, Zergo Storm Renderer has a few obstacles in his way for this one. Now, trying to say the name of this card is going to be a little hard for me. I believe it's Canios and Tiro of Melitus. Now, at the beginning of each end step, it has an effect go off that I'm not quite sure how it helps win the game. But this card here, the legendary Raccoon Bard that we've went against before in a Bloomberg PreCon, is a headache as it turns junk and, well, just about everything else into 4/4 elemental tokens. So that's going to be a thorn in our side. And this one here, Seer Kara the Bold, I've never played against this one. It's a human knight that whenever a instant or sorcery is played, you're able to deal damage to a player, and then when you deal damage to a player, then you exile the top instant or sorcery, top card, and if it's an instant or sorcery, you're able to play it. It also has a ping mechanic where you can do 1 damage, but I don't think that's really what's going to be utilized with this deck. But I do feel that Mardu Surge as a PreCon can hold its own against, well, just about any deck that you come across in the average shop. Now, this isn't going to be something you can go ahead and step into like a CEDH Commander tournament or anything like that, but I do personally feel that Mardu Surge at your local game shop, at your LGS, will give you hours upon hours of gameplay and fun that will make you competitive enough to not just be the guy sitting there with a PreCon and twiddling your thumbs, because that's what a lot of people think. If you get a PreCon, you're not going to be as competitive as other players at the table. But for someone that's hopping back into Magic, and this being the commander deck that I decided to navigate and play for my first time getting back into the game, I've got to say, it definitely held its own. Now, As you heard earlier in this video, I used Zergo Storm Renderer. Now, what the ideal was I was going to flood the field with as many tokens as possible. And there's a little red spell. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but you get to cast so many 1/1 red elemental tokens. Then you ask each opponent if they'd like to make that many tokens as well. But the kicker to that card is, say I make 7 tokens, and then the player to my left makes 7, then I get an additional 7. Now, if the second player after that makes 7, then I get 7 more. You understand how it can really get your token count up there. But usually, people sitting around the table that I'm playing at, I might have 1 or 2 people decide to add those extra tokens. But that's the idea. We're going to flood the board with tokens and try to have them leave the field without them being in the attack position. And, well, it ended up working, folks. The winning kill shot came from Zergo Storm Renderer, and what I ended up doing was how we said we wanted to flood the field. We did just that. We ended up getting 26 1/1 tokens on the field, and one of our other creature cards in this deck allowed us to sacrifice a creature and scry. Now, by doing so and having Zergo on the field, we literally just scryed 26 cards from our deck and dealt 26 damage to each opponent. And that was the winning kill shot. And it really made me realize that Zergo could become one of those decks that you see, well, going off, so to speak. A friend of mine said he does not feel that Zergo could be CEDH, but I kind of disagree. I feel that this deck can go off rather fast, and it can be rather furious. Now, Zergo, in my opinion, was a lot of fun to play. Mardu Surge, my pre-con record is now 1-2, and I personally would highly recommend to anyone wanting to hop back into Magic the Gathering, wanting to hop into Commander, if you're looking to pick up a pre-con, Mardu Surge, the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander deck, is definitely one that this Commander player gives 2 thumbs way up. Whether you want to play with Nareev, I'm sorry, I said Nareev, or Zergo, either way, you're going to have a lot of fun. And you're going to be competitive. No matter what table you sit down at your local gaming store, I feel that you may not walk away with win after win after win, but you do have the ability to pull off some pretty unique and interesting victories with this pre-con right out of the box. One more time, folks, put your hands together for Mardu Surge and let me know what pre-con commander deck do you recommend that I try next. And like I said, each of the videos that we put out in this series, we're going to take each and every one of those pre-cons and play 3 games on 3 different occasions, because some days the cards just aren't in your favor. So sometimes you just got to shuffle them up and give it a shot another day. But I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching. And if you've not had the chance to yet, now's a great time to do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Like I said at the beginning of this video, help us hit 100 subscribers. That's our first goal. And if you left a comment, the algorithm really likes that. You rock.